Take me out to the ball game, take me out to the crowd. How many times have you heard the beginning of this song? Probably not as many times as my Uncle Rob has. You see, my Uncle Rob hears it while doing his job 5 to 6 times a week. My uncle is Rob Thompson. That's Thompson without the P. Third base coach for the World Series champions, the New York Yankees. Dear Mr. Rocher and fellow classmates, let me tell you about how my Uncle Rob hit his biggest home run by getting his dream job with the New York Yankees. Wouldn't it be exciting to get a scholarship for your favorite sport in the world? Well, that's back to my uncle. Let me explain how this opportunity came to my uncle. My Uncle Rob was born in Mckenna, just outside of Sarnia, Ontario, on August 16, 1963. In Sarnia, he played Little League. He played 1 year baseball at St. Clair Community College in Port Huron, Michigan, where he was spotted and picked up to play for the Stratford Hillers. For playing in Stratford, he received a scholarship at the University of Kansas until 1985. In 1984, he was selected to play in the men's Canadian Olympic baseball team. He was drafted in the 32nd round of the 1985 draft by the Detroit Tigers. His position with the Tigers was as catcher and third baseman from 1985 to 1988. Devastation happened in 1988 when my Uncle Rob tore a muscle in the shoulder that ended his playing days. But when one door closes, another one opens. From this injury, the Tigers offered him a coaching job in the minor league system. In 1990, my uncle was asked by the New York Yankees minor league to be a third base coach. In 1994, he was very lucky to be able to live in Australia and coach a professional baseball team for the winter season. It wasn't until 1998 when my Uncle Rob, Aunt Michelle, and cousins moved to Tampa Bay, Florida to live because my uncle became field coordinator. In 2000, he was promoted Director of Player Development for the whole minor league system. His job changed twice in 2003. Early in the year, he became Vice President of Minor League Development, and then on November 4th of that year, he joined the Major League coaching staff. My Uncle Rob made history on April 4th, 2008, when due to an illness, he became the first Canadian to manage a Major League game since 1934. He has signed on again to be the Yankees' third base coach in 2010. Although coaching can be very difficult, it can also be very rewarding. Take, for instance, he has 5 World Series rings, which represents the number of times the Yankees have won it since 1996. If it wasn't for baseball, we wouldn't have met and married my Aunt Michelle. 2009 represents Uncle Rob's 20th year with the Yankees and his first trip to the World Series as a coach. Now the fun stuff. Did you know the Yankees have had the most World Series wins in history? 27 times. Did you know they have the highest salaries in any sport, which is around $200 million a year? They also have the highest paid player, Alex Rodriguez, at $27 million a year. Did you know that baseball was invented in 1839 by a man named Abner Doubleday? And the rules weren't invented until 6 years later by a man named Alexander Cartwright. Did you know every time the Yankees win in their home stadium, they play Frank Sinatra's New York, New York? Did you know that baseball is dangerous? Well, my Uncle Rob was hitting balls into a hitting cage during hitting practice. A ball took a bad bounce, hit my uncle in the jaw, and broke it. In baseball, like in life, there are good bounces and bad bounces. It's how you catch them that counts. My uncle was inspired to play by watching his brothers and how much his father and brothers loved the game so much. Watching baseball made Rob want to study the game more. Working towards a goal can be very discouraging. My Uncle Rob says that baseball is a very tough game. If you hit 3 times out of 10, you're thought of as awesome. So this means you can fail 7 out of 10 times. If you really want something, you have to battle many times. Rob grew up in a small town, so he knew there were lots more men that were bigger and better than him. But he worked really hard at keeping up with being better than them. Living his dream meant being discouraged and overcoming challenges. One of his biggest goals as a little boy was to make it to the major leagues. It was more special to him knowing he overcame being discouraged and met the challenges by grinding away until he reached them. Even though his journey was very hard, it made him a stronger and better person. This proves anyone can do anything if they want it bad enough. I'm inspired to work hard at everything I do after researching and learning just how difficult it is to fulfill a dream. I think my Uncle Rob is awesome. So remember, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out of the old ball game. Play ball.